Okay, now let's move on to the ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog. So now, let's look at the box. Nothing much to talk about, the only difference is, it says 2000 Shadow and Beetle. That's the only difference, and the awesome cityscape background. So that's the box. Now, the articulation. Okay, so here they are out of the box, the Badnik and Shadow. So now let's go into the articulation for Shadow. He has 14 points of articulation, but like always, I'll show him. Head, shoulder, elbow, wrist, waist, leg, knee, and foot. That's the articulation, and I hit my camera again. That's the articulation for Shadow. Now for his Badnik, nothing at all. So now let's go into sculpt. Sculpt on Shadow's Badnik. To tell you the truth, I kind of like it, but I don't favor this piece of stuff. I mean, it's shiny on the painted parts, like right there and right here, and it has detail right there, but it looks kind of cheap to me. It looks good, but just kind of cheap. But it has great detail. Still kind of cheap. Now for Shadow. Shadow's Shadow sculpt is great. They have the chest hair, the red eyes, the mouth, which has the white teeth. I thought they would fix that after the Super Shadow, but I guess they didn't. The air holes under his shoes, which is very nicely detailed right here. The back of his quills, his tail, the red streaks on his quills, his ears, his nose, his muzzle, the rings around his fist, and the cuffs, and on his shoes as well. They have a very great sculpt. So that's sculpt. Now, accessories. The accessory is this Badnik. Shadow, once again, he has a hole for a stand, but he does not come with a stand. So yeah, the only accessory was the Mono Beetle. So, now, let's go into pros and cons. Pros for Shadow. I forgot to mention this in every Sonic 20th anniversary review I've done. The figures now have tighter joints, so they won't become loose like as soon as you open them. And he has a very great sculpt, especially on the shoes and the hands. He has a good amount of articulation. He stands pretty well on his own, as you can see. And he has just an overall great detail and sculpt. Now for the pros for the Mono Beetle. This is the second Badnik to stand. The first one was the Sandworm, and this is the second one. So yeah, he has great detail. Even though I think he's kind of cheap, he has great detail right there and right there. His paint is shiny right here, and that's pretty good too. And so that's the pros for these figures. The cons. The Mono Beetle doesn't articulate. I actually think it wouldn't need any articulation because it doesn't look like it needs to, unlike the Moto Bug or the Spinner. And the cons for Shadow. I really don't see any cons with Shadow. I don't see any paint errors besides right there with the white teeth. Yeah, I don't see any other paint errors besides the teeth. So that's it for pros and cons. Now my final score. My final score for the Mono Beetle is a 7.5. And my final score for Shadow is a 9.5. So this is my review on the Shadow and Mono Beetle, sorry. And thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.